Okay, my friends, how you all doing? Sorry, I get marks off for tardiness, late again. It's actually pretty. It's sorry, I do apologize. It's quite bad. Like I wouldn't be late for. I'm hardly ever late for a lesson at the Buddhist center, a class at the Buddhist center, but then I'm late for this class. I don't know why. Um, I'm gonna. I'll try and remedy that. But yeah, I was at the shore again. It's at the seaside. Um, and just it got a little bit trafficky on the way back. But I hope you're all doing good. Um, so I'm glad that yeah, nice. I see a few of you checking in. Um, so we've been having in Scotland, we've been having the beautiful weather. That's why I've been out and about. Just I think I've practically fell asleep on the beach today. I didn't get enough sleep last night. It was too late in bed, and the body keeps the score, as that's a well known book. The body keeps the score, and it does keep the score, because I had to have a nap before I could even think straight or do straight. I couldn't even meditate properly. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm a little bit wheezy as well because of I think it's because of the tree pollen. My friends, my best friends, the trees, also at this time of year they reach out and touch you, give you a little kiss, and they make me they make me wheezy. So Pippa's had a hell of a day. So glad we're doing this, Pippa. You're in the right place. Donna's still up. Um, glad you stayed up. Amelia's there, Sebastian's there, Joe's there, Monica's there. It was nice to see you in Cologne. Yeah, it was nice to see you too, Monica, in the flesh. And there you are, back on screen. We had a nice weekend, didn't we? It was that was a great little festival, Cologne Pop Fest. That was it was a lot of fun, and I didn't lead a meditation. I still haven't done that yet. Got to that point where I'm like, okay, let's do Stu's Meds live on stage. But I did songs and readings and got to see some really nice bands. Okay, so what I suggest, we're not going to do anything out of the ordinary. This our thing here is meditation. It's a bit of chat, it's checking in, but I I can't do anything. I can't give you any better advice than to meditate. And so but I can lead you by the hand for the next 15 minutes or so. I'm super happy to lead the meditation. I get to obviously I get to meditate too, and it's quite a powerful thing to meditate together. I always feel. So thank you so much for joining me and the rest of us. Um, Thank you for putting this time aside. Let's use that time for let's have a determination that we're gonna put everything else aside. We're gonna meditate. We're gonna find that peace. We're gonna try to find a little bit of peace which is within us. And you know You might be having a crappy day like Pippa. You might be having the best day of your life, but it doesn't matter. Like you can be up there, you can be down there, you can be off to one side. It's still great to meditate anytime. You know, you can take a sense of celebration. You can take a sense of devastation. Well, I hope you're not devastated, but you can take some sadness into a meditation. Don't be scared to take anxiety, to take, sometimes when your mind slows down, you feel this stuff rattling around it. Sometimes it feels amplified. You might get anxiety, you might get a sense of fear that you've been carrying around with you. But we're trying to be brave. We're trying to accept everything. We're trying to get into a mindset of accepting everything, slowing everything down, and hopefully you can generate a little bit of faith in what we're doing here, because if you've tried it before, you know that you can get through the bumps and you can taste that peace. You can get through the bumps and you can get to a slightly more peaceful place. And if you've done it before, you can do it again. And if you've done it a few times before and you've had this much peace, then you can do it 100 times more and maybe get this much peace. That's the best advice I have for you. That's all my experience. And faith in this sense, faith grows from experience. This isn't like we're not talking about faith in an otherness, faith in a mystery. We're talking about faith in a practice, faith in practicalities and testimony from each other. All right, let's. So yeah, we'll do our meditation for the next 10-15 minutes, and then a little bit of chat, and then a bit of meditation to finish with. So if you'd like to get into a comfortable seated position, I like to, when I'm officially meditating, I like to try and sit with a straight back. I feel that it just gives me the right amount of consciousness, the right amount of ability to stay awake. But at the same time, you can be comfortable, and you can start relaxing the other areas of your body. So if you want to go ahead, and you can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. So now that I've stopped talking, you might be aware of your own thoughts, worrying. You might suddenly realize that you're planning contingencies for later on this evening, even for dinner time or lunchtime or whatever next meal you're going to have. But you know what? We can afford to leave that stuff to one side for now. If you've got any darker stuff, nagging stuff, then I'm sorry that you have that stuff. It's rife. We all got difficult things going on, but let's try to park that as well. But let's just look at our minds for the next minute or so, and try to see these thoughts as just thoughts, as separate from our mind, something that we're observing dispassionately, disinterested, maybe they'll just settle down. As we sit here, let's make our own dedication. You can make it personal. You can decide yourself, ask yourself, why am I meditating? What do I actually want to get from this? And I know you guys, whatever it is you're aiming for, it is a good thing. It's a virtuous thing. So take aim and decide what you're meditating for this afternoon or this evening or this morning. Okay, folks, so let's check around our body. Let's do a bit of a body scan. Our poor old bodies. We put them through a lot. Let's start with our feet, the things that we've been treading on all day. I want you to put your imagination into your feet. Your toes. Your ankles. Let's come up and check in with your shins, your calf muscles. Sometimes I find that they answer you. You start thinking about your knees, your kneecaps, the back of your knees. and you might feel a little twinge. It's like your knees saying hello back to you. You got the bones, you got the blood, you got the ligaments, you got the muscles. You're all working away there. Let's think about your thighs, the power. Up to your hips. And while your attention is on parts of your body, you might naturally feel your system starting to simmer down a little bit, which is good. It's good for everything. It's good for you. It's going to be good for your kids. It's going to be good for your partner. Good for your friend. Good for your budgie. All right. Let's go to your tummy now. You can let that relax a bit. You don't want a tense tummy. You want to be able to be breathing from your tummy. And then up to your chest. And your shoulders. These two can be given permission to stand at ease. Sometimes your shoulder and the back of your neck have been standing to attention all day. This is a good time to let them stand at ease. Relax, guys. So down your arms to your elbows. Your forearms. Your poor wrists. You have to work so hard in the modern time, holding your phone, texting and tapping and working the computer, working the mouse pad. So let's extend the relaxation into your hands. Check in with your fingers from the pinky, then go inwards one by one to your thumb. Hello, thumb. And just think about your back for a second. Can't relax that completely because it's holding you up. But at this point, a fairly straight back is probably a relief from all the bending over you've been doing most of the day. Again, you might want to let your head feel like it's suspended by an invisible thread. So it's light, light, light. Feel a little bit of a gap, the back of your neck, as if the sun is shining through the vertebrae. So you're definitely alive. Blood is flowing. Nerves are catching all the messages and stimuli. Let's imagine that you're back in a classroom at school, and you're doing painting, and they have new brushes, and they've got a nice big thick soft paintbrush that hasn't been used yet. It's probably got a red handle, so you lift it out, or somebody else lifts it out, and they're just brushing it softly over your face. In a nice downward motion, brushing away the creases from your forehead. You might want to detach your tongue from the roof of your mouth while you're there. Still brushing away with that nice soft brush on your cheekbones, your nose, your chin. Okay, so if you have managed to get a little piece going, I want you to focus in on that peace, that sense of well-being, a little bit of calm. For the last minute or so. Let that sense of peace grow in your mind, in your heart. this, my friends, is meditation. It is nothing more complicated than focusing on a virtuous object, focusing on something genuinely nice, and we're just focusing on that sense of peace that we've engendered. And sometimes it will just grow of its own accord, and you can abide with that peace. Let's try just another minute or so. So it's amazing, folks, just to remind us what we're doing. You're just accepting everything, and you have the confidence just to be, to live, to accept yourself as you are, to realize that there's circumstances happening all around you and can't do much about them. Sometimes you just have to let them flow through you, and you have to stay calm in the middle, the eye of the storm. But you do have that peace in you, and it might not seem profound, and it might not be verging on bliss, but it's hopefully a little bit peaceful, a little bit more peaceful than it was 20 minutes ago. It just shows that it's there. Okay, so in your own time, you can arise from meditation. You can open your eyes if you wanna, or just do what you like. I'm just going to chat for a bit, and then at the end we're going to try and find this comfortable state again and do a little bit more. Oh, my eyes are all red about I think my eyes are kind of funny with the pollen. Okay, that's better. I can see. So, yeah, I didn't really plan that meditation, I started doing the body scan thing, and then just kept doing it, and it's quite useful. That would be described as a, a bottom up process as opposed to top down. Top down is when you're focusing on stuff that's going on in your mind. You know, you're going inside your mind, and you're trying to calm things down from there or focus on something from there. And this is going to have eventually an effect on your body. Your parasympathetic systems and everything's going to start chilling out, and flowing better. Whereas what we did was a bottom up, where we're actually focusing on the body, but you end up in the same situation because your mind has slowed down. Or at least mine did a little bit. Your mind starts to slow down to the point where you can't even speak, which is how I feel right now. So yeah, a little bit different, but there's plenty of, if you ever feel like doing a nice body scan, it's a good one to do if if you're just knackered and you want somebody else to do you're just looking for relaxation. Then you can get yourself on the sofa, get yourself in a quiet place with your headphones on, and find somebody to do a guided body scan. And you can, if you're lying down, you might really feel like you're starting to float away or something. It's quite good. Okay, let me just check in with you guys. Good, you're still there. Let me just take a wee drink. I wonder if any of you, while you're doing meditation, or if you try it yourself during the week, or I've sometimes got to stop myself from of getting distracted. Sometimes I find that when the mind slows down, then obviously things pop into your head. They'll just randomly pop into your head. That's the way that your mind works. Your mind doesn't really like a vacuum, and we're not trying to create a vacuum. We're always focusing on something. The idea is we're trying to slow down and focus on a virtuous object and let that grow in your mind or in your heart. But sometimes I will, when you get into that relaxed state, then you can have an idea, and it will actually be quite a good idea. And sometimes sometimes I get song ideas, and just wondered if you ever felt that way as well. When everything slows down, and then you suddenly, maybe a problem that you've been working on, or you just suddenly see a solution, or you just get an idea for something. And and I will sometimes I'll sit with my phone, and I'll quickly jot down a tune that's occurred to me, and then move on with it. But it's a nice state of mind to encourage that kind of artistic flow when you slow everything down. Um, so yeah, so we're meditating for, well, I'm meditating. I'm always meditating to find a bit of peace, genuine peace. I'll settle for that every time because I think peace, if you think about it, peace is a state of mind where you don't want anything to change. And how often does that really happen in your life where you're in a place where you don't want anything to change? Sometimes you might, for instance, you might plan a holiday. You might plan it 6 months ahead of time. You might anticipate that holiday. You might be, picking your books. You might have a new beach towel that you want to show off. You just can't wait to get on holiday, and this is going to be the best part of the year. And you get on the plane and you get to the resort and you get to the beach, and this temperature's just right, and but then somebody starts playing like a beatbox next to you, like playing really rubbish music, um, and you're like, okay, oh, I want that to change, and then suddenly you're like, oh, wish I brought a drink with me, or it's just very rare to be in a situation where everything is perfect. In striving for perfection in life is always going to be fraught. Um, so, I think when you go inwards and you let your mind settle down and you genuinely experience a sense of peace, even if it's sometimes just for a second or a few seconds, um, but suddenly you're in a place where you don't want anything to change. And you didn't have to go to the beach. You didn't have to get on a plane. You didn't have to assemble all your best friends. You didn't have to strive for perfection uh, you know, before you could be happy. Actually, maybe happiness is something that you carry around with you wherever you go. It just needs to be unveiled. Um, I'm not saying it's easy, because if we could stay in a state of happiness for a long time, then that would surely, if you were in that proper peaceful state for a long time, then that would could fairly be described as bliss, a blissful sort of state. And that is difficult to, I don't know many people who have managed to sustain a blissful state for it, but it's worth trying. And I'll settle for the little snippet of peace, the little pocket of peace that you can get from meditation. I think it's not just that moment that you're hoping for, but it can sometimes turn your day around. It can really set you on the right path. So it's not just for those few moments that oh right, I need to get there. I just need to taste those couple of seconds. The thing is, the whole practice, the whole determination of it, the fact that you are doing it yourself is very powerful. It's very powerful, and can reset your day. Like tapping a barometer. I think I've made that comparison before. Just tap that barometer, you see the thing move, and that's you. You're on a different course. You're on a different pressure. So yeah, it's a great human discovery. Um, in lots of regards, we are like animals on the earth. We are just, humans are quite like animals, but not all the way, because animals don't meditate. I know you've all seen pictures of dogs sitting cross-legged and cats sitting cross-legged and hamsters looking like they're in meditative uh, postures, but they can't meditate. I'm pretty certain that they might get into a sort of very relaxed meditative state, but they can't do it of their own volition. A dog doesn't wake up and say, "Okay, excuse me, owner. No, it's okay. I don't need any food right now. I'm going to go off and meditate." The dog would more likely be like, "Yeah, I'll take the food," um, and then forget all about the meditation. So yeah, animals don't meditate. It's a radical thing to do. It's a human thing to do. It's a civilized thing to do. It is amazing. It's a great human discovery. Um, I must admit, we must have meditated for longer, because I know it was late starting, but it almost feels like it's time to do the finishing meditation. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe like as we go along, as long as you can handle it, as long as you're with me, that the the chatty bit gets smaller, and as the meditation gets longer. But that's all right by me. Excuse me. Heather says, I gave my 8-year-old sister a guided meditation a few days ago and she really enjoyed it. I think the world would be much better if we all meditated. That's amazing, um, that you did that, Heather. Um, I wish I could get my boys to meditate, but I can't get them to do anything. I I can't get them to go to bed, so it's right at this minute. Um, it's tricky, but that's if you can start them early, that's brilliant. I think kids do more of this kind of stuff at school more than we used to do. I think teachers have ways of tricking the kids into doing some forms of meditation or concentration or calming them down a bit. Sebastian says, I definitely find I get distracted sometimes during meditation, but often I find the answer to life's problem. Wow, that's amazing. And of course, Sebastian, we all get distracted. Don't for a minute think that while you're sitting there, um, that the person in the next computer is doing great or I'm doing great. We're all we are we're all still have sparks flying in our minds and are find it difficult to leave our thoughts behind. And some days we can do good. Some days we slip into it, find the groove pretty fast. Other days it's just so difficult. And please don't be put off by that. Please persevere. I mean, I've had days where I've had classes that I've been to when I've actually had to leave the class. I'm just like, I cannot do. Well, actually, that doesn't say much for perseverance, but just to, especially in the early days, just to point out, you get to the place and you're like, no, I can't do this today. Um, it is good if you can persevere, but I get it. I get that it's really tricky sometimes. Oh, that's good. You're all having ideas when you're in meditative states. That, Nicole, that's a popular one when you're about to fall asleep, um, and your co-workers get voice notes from you at 1 in the morning. Do you actually send them at 1 in the morning, or do you save them for the for kind of breakfast time? Um, Sunny says you haven't met our cat Luna. Okay, well, I'll maybe I need to meet your cat Luna first before before we definitively decide that animals can't meditate. Um, oh, I was gonna talk to you about other things, but you know what? I think it's I apologize again for being late, but I think we will just do a brief a brief meditation to finish. I think that would be nice, and it feels like we went quite deep before, so maybe we can find that groove again. Actually, I can just hear my neighbor's kid. Wait, I'm just gonna close the door. I'll be back in a sec. All right. Yeah, extra layer of quiet. Donna says, my bird never meditates during our sessions. She gets excited when she hears Stu's voice. That's funny. I take it your bird isn't a budgie. Um, I wonder what kind of bird you have. I wonder if you had a myna a myna bird. I'm always quite fascinated by myna birds. In the early days of the band, we discussed putting our records out in different formats, and because at the time, records were still the thing, CDs were the thing, tapes were still a thing, but we were trying to think of something more retro, and Chris suggested that we could put our record out in Myna Bird format, so that you got a Myna Bird it opened its beak and reproduced the sound of the record. Um, I thought that was quite inspired. I have a pink and black Burke's parrot. Nice, beautiful. Wow, Ralph, that's amazing. That's if you, I'll just repeat your testimony. Ralph says, "Nice to see you again. I recently had a heart attack, and the doctor said it cured itself by my meditation." Well, that's brilliant. That's kind of like an inspiration for everybody. Um, the power and the possibility, and I hope you're feeling better. I hope you can continue with your cure. All right, let's just do a few minutes to finish. So go ahead and get yourself into your posture. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I get the judders. To feel your thoughts coming in again. You might want to even think about your consciousness slipping down from your head into your heart. There's no reason, there's no proof that the mind resides in the brain or the head. Um, Quite nice to bring it down into the heart center. Center of your being. I want you to picture your body again. Try to get a picture in your mind of the three-dimensional body, the skin and everything inside. And now I would like you to try and imagine that everything inside your skin is dissolving into light. So imagine that your body is dissolving into light inside your skin. Let's try and picture that for the next minute or so. So you're imagining your body is hollow and that it is filled with light. Your legs, your torso, your arms, your head, all hollowed out and full of light. So your body's hollow and full of light. And you might want to imagine that your skin becomes transparent. So really you're just left feeling light. And this light has the nature of positivity. So if you can imagine just being that light for the next minute or so. Being the light, feeling the light. And the light has the nature of positivity. To embrace that for the last minute or so. Okay, my friends, let's dedicate our efforts to our well-being and happiness, to the well-being and happiness of our friends and family and people we love, and to the welfare and happiness of all living things on the planet who deserve it just as much as we do. And in your own time, arise from meditation. Great, thank you so much. Lovely. Okay, it was great to see you folks. Thanks. I'll try to be a little bit more prompt at next week. I'm going to Ireland at the weekend, so if you're in Galway and you do the meds and come up and say hi, it would be lovely to see you. And yeah, I'll be around next week. I hope you have a peaceful week, And if you feel like giving it a go during the week, if you've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's all you need. Doesn't matter how crap you are, because I'm crap too. Okay, I'll see you all. Bye for now.